All right. So the first thing you're going to do is take your sticks, and to put vegetables and stuff on them like this, because of the way they're made, they will break really easily. So what I want you to do is put your sticks in the sink in water or in a pan in water, because when you put them in water, they will actually bend and give more movement. So go ahead and put those in the water so that we have those ready when we're ready to put our vegetables and meat on them. All right, that's our first thing to do. All right, next we're gonna start with our chicken. All right, so you need to take a piece of chicken. Yep. So you're taking a piece of chicken. Mine are chicken breasts, they're pretty big. So take a piece of chicken. And the first thing I want to do is cut all the fat off of it. If you're just joining us and you have the kebab sticks, go ahead and put them in water for 30 minutes while we're cutting vegetables. That'll be long enough. That'll make them easy to work with, and they won't break when you're putting meat and stuff on them. Yes.
For how much time?
They'll be in the water 30 minutes, about how long it takes us to cut everything up. Again, on the chicken, you want to make sure if you have fat on it that you're cutting that off.
Do we need to cook it or just put it in water?
What, the chicken?
Yeah.
No, the chicken we're cutting up raw.
Raw?
Raw, yeah. See how mine is raw? It's not cooked?
Yeah, but we're gonna cook it or?
Yeah, it'll be part of the kebabs. We'll put it on and it'll cook in the oven. Okay? So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your chicken and you just want to cut it in chicken strips. So I just took my big piece and I'm just cutting it into little strips. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna cut my chicken into the strips. All right. And once I get it cut into strips, I'm just going to start taking the strips and I'm going to cut them into small pieces so that I have pieces of chicken.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Like this?
Yes. And then you'll cut them into pieces like this so that they're little. Okay? So cut them in strips and then cut them in those strips into little pieces. Y'all hear my dog? He's wanting to eat this chicken. He loves chicken. Alright, so I'm just taking my chicken now and I'm cutting it into little pieces. It's what's called cubing the chicken because they look like little cubes. Okay? So I'm gonna get all my chicken cut. You're fine, buddy. You don't need chicken. You have to wait for it to cook, bud. Stop. Stop. How are we doing on cutting chicken? We doing all right?
Excuse me?
Yes.
Now what do we need to put in?
Well, after you get it all cut up, then you need to put it in a bowl by itself. Just put all the raw chicken into a bowl by itself when you have it all cut up. I've got a few more slices here to make on mine. All right. I've got mine pretty much cut up here. So I'm going to use this bowl and I'm just going to put all my chicken in it. Just picking it up and putting it all in there. All right, the next thing you need to do before we go on is the knife you just used to cut the chicken and the cutting board. You need to wash them because chicken can have what's called salmonella, and it's a poison, and you don't want to eat it or get it in your face. So we need to wash these before we cut any more vegetables. So let's wash off our knife and our cutting board. And make sure you wash your hands too. And I want to make sure I wash them really good because I don't want to get this chicken on anything else right now. Once it's washed, just dry it off. You don't have to dry it real good because we're going to use it again for the vegetables. And dry your knife off really good. Alright. The first thing we're going to cut is the zucchini. So, I've got fresh store-bought zucchini. So I'm going to take them out. The recipe calls for 3. Again, if your family doesn't like zucchini, if y'all like yellow squash or something else, you can definitely use that. So we're going to take the zucchini and we're going to wash them off. Just run them under water. Just to make sure we get all the germs off of them. Yes?
I didn't hear that, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. You're going to take the zucchini and you're going to wash them off in the sink. Just to make sure you get anything off of them. Alright, after your zucchini is washed. Yes. Yep. After your zucchini is washed, make sure you cut off the ends, both ends, on all 3 pieces. So we're going to go ahead and cut that off. Now, yesterday we made the slices of zucchini pretty thin. Today we're not going to make them quite as thin. Today I want to make them about the size of a pickle, okay? So, I want them about that thick. So make sure they're about the size of a pickle in thickness. See how thick they are? And then some of the bigger ends will be a little bit thicker, okay? So go ahead and cut up all of your zucchini. And then to make room on my cutting board, I'm gonna put my zucchini in a bowl, just so I have room on my cutting board for my potatoes and my corn. So I'm going to put all my zucchini in a bowl, just because I want to make sure I have room on my cutting board for the other two things I got to cut. And it, again, if your family likes onions or something like that, you can definitely add that to the recipe. How are we doing on the zucchini? Thumbs up? Awesome. All right, now we're gonna move to the potatoes. Again, I just got fresh potatoes, so you're gonna wanna wash them off really good, okay? So I just got potatoes. You can use these or you can use regular potatoes. You're gonna wash them off really good. Alright, I've got my potatoes all washed off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the potato in half. Okay, I've just cut it in half. And then I'm going to lay it down on your cutting board like this, so the half that you just cut is laying on the board so that it's even. And then slice that in half again. And then I just make about 6 little pieces like this out of the half the potato. So again, I've got it the half. I'm going to lay it flat like this on my cutting board. I'm going to cut it in half. So I have 2 halves like this. And then I'm going to cut those in half. So now I've got 6 pieces. Actually, I cut them into thirds. Okay? Alright, I'm going to do the same thing with the next potato. I'm going to cut it in half. So that I'm getting little, they call them cubes, but they're not really a cube shape, just little pieces of potato. You can usually get 2 or 3 slices per half a potato. All right. How are we doing on cutting potatoes? Good? Awesome. I'll give everybody a chance to get caught up with us, because I see some still cutting their potatoes. That's fine, because the next part's going to be the hardest part. All right, are we ready to go on to corn? All right. All right, so depending on how you bought your corn, you could have bought it frozen in little ears. I bought fresh big ears, okay? Mine came in a package like this, okay? So the first thing I wanna do is, this one has a little part of the husk still on it. I need to make sure all the husk is off of the corn. So I want to make sure all the husk is off. Once I do that, I need to wash it under water real good. And I'm going to do that with 3 pieces. Again, make sure all the husk is off. And then you're washing it real good.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Do I have to cut it in like the zucchini?
We're not going to cut it that small. We're going to cut it into about 1 inch. I'll show you just a minute. All right. So I'm going to take my corn. Now again, guys, this is the hardest part because it's hard to cut through a corn cob. All right. I'm going to take my corn on my cutting board and I'm going to go in about 1 inch. And I want you to go in with your knife until you start hearing the cob bust. When you start hearing the cob bust, you can just move your knife around and it will break. So you want pieces about this big. Okay? Yeah, exactly. So you want to do that to all 3 ears of corn. You'll get about 5 pieces per corn if you've got the longer pieces. You want to make sure if it has an end on it too that you cut that end off, because you don't want anybody to try to eat that. And again, once I start hearing the cob in the middle break, I just work my knife back and forth until it finally breaks it. Alright, I have one more piece here to cut up. This will be the hardest thing we have to cut for this whole entire class these next few weeks. Unfortunately, you can't buy corn cut into little bitty pieces like this, so you have to cut them yourself. And that's the hard part. And some of them you'll find have a really hard core and some are softer. If you're lucky enough to get a soft piece, it'll cut real easy. And they don't have to be even cuts. Alright, I'll give everybody a chance to get that corn cut because I know it's hard. Alright, do we have the corn cut? Are we good? Okay, I see one of us are good. 2. How are we doing, Maria? How are we doing, Sophia?
Good.
Good. Hello, Asia. Anna Rai, how are you doing? Doing good? Alright, the next part, guys, it seems hard, but once you get the hang of it, it's real easy. So your sticks have been in the water. So I'm going to stir them around in the water just for a minute to make sure they've all had a chance to be in the water for a while.
What?
The sticks, the skewers. Okay? Yep. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is put a piece of corn on these. Now, this is not as easy as it sounds. It's not just going to push right on. What you need to do is put it in the corn and then twist the corn like you would a screw and push at the same time as you're twisting. So push and twist at the same time.
No sé cómo hacerlo, pero voy a tratar.
If you don't have the sticks, then you're just going to put everything in a pan together.
Ayuda. Canta.
Yep. See how I'm turning it and pushing at the same time? And I'm waiting for it to come out the other end. It does take it a few minutes. The corn is not real easy to put on. The stick's not wanting to take it. There it is. I think this one's just too pliable.
¿Qué lo hice?
right, once I've got the first piece of corn on, I'm gonna push it towards the bottom of my stick. Not all the way to the bottom, but partially to the bottom, because I wanna still be able to hold on to the stick when I'm done with it. Yes, like that. So once I've got it on my stick, I still wanna be able to hold on to my stick. Okay? The next thing I'm gonna take is a potato. And again, I may have to twist it a little bit to get it on. It won't take near as much as the corn did. And I'm gonna slide it down. Then I'm gonna take a piece of my chicken and I'm gonna put it on. And then I'm gonna take a zucchini and I'm gonna put it on. And then I'm gonna repeat it. So I do another piece of corn. Again, twist your corn and push it while you're twisting it like a screw, and it'll screw right in and it'll go right down. Be careful when it comes out the other end, because it will stick you if you're not being careful.
Excuse me?
Yes.
The same pattern or with the chicken?
So I put the corn, then I put a piece of potato, then I put chicken, and then I put a zucchini. And then I start over and do it again. Corn, chicken, corn, potato, chicken, zucchini. So I just keep doing it over and over. So it looks like this. And I'm going to try and get one more row on here, which means I may have to move my row down a little bit, my original, down a little bit. So I'm just going to pull it down with my fingers. I'm going to take another piece of corn. All right, got my other piece of corn almost on.
Oh, yes,
Yep, very good. You are doing good. Once you get it done, go ahead and put it in a baking pan, kind of like a cookie pan. And go ahead and start the next one. And you're going to do it the exact same way. Corn, potato, chicken, and then cucumber. Or not cucumber, zucchini. Now what I do with these guys is after I cook them in the oven, when I serve them with rice. We put like the rice on the plate and then we put the kebab on top of it. And then some of my family uses soy sauce, some uses teriyaki sauce, just whatever sauce they want on it, and that's how we eat them. If you put it together and you think, oh, I need more chicken on it, you can absolutely put more chicken on it. I wouldn't put more than 3 pieces of corn on it though. I would keep it between 2 and 3. Because the corn is what takes up most of your skewer. Yeah, good job.
Ahora un plato para poner todo. Mi amor, ¿qué tal si usamos, mira amor, qué tal si usamos, sí, puede ser eso, ¿qué importa? Ok, pero mi amor, dice usted, porque todavía hay mucho. ¿Ay? ¿Qué más? Ajá, y después de
Be very careful not to break your skewers.
eso sería porque vamos a poner.
If you start running out of stuff, you can always just take a potato, put it on, put your chicken on. And I always, when I start running out, I put a couple pieces of chicken on just to give it more flavor. And your zucchini on. And you can just layer it that way. Because you may not have enough corn for all the skewers and all the vegetables.
Todo, ¿verdad? Bueno, échale un poco aquí. Todo uno pollo. Lleva, échale uno.
So here's one without the corn cobs on it. And lucky for me, I've got somebody in the family that doesn't like corn. So those are nice to make. All right, another variation is I've got somebody in the family that doesn't like zucchini. So I'm just gonna put the corn and potatoes and chicken on this one. And that way, they have something to eat. So you just make them kind of however your family likes them. Alright, and there I've got one for somebody that doesn't like the zucchini. And if I want to add another piece of corn, I just move it down so that there's room at the top. And I just add another piece of corn. Again, on the corn, if you just turn it and push down on the corn as you're turning it, it should go right through. Be careful though when you're turning it that you don't have your hand this way, because that stick starts to come through, it will stick you. Same with the potato. You don't want to get stuck by that stick. And again, if you need to move it down just a little bit, just push on it, it'll move down. Alright, and there's one for my person that doesn't like zucchini. Now I'm going to finish up the rest of mine the way the recipe calls, with the corn, the potatoes, the zucchini, and the chicken, because everybody else in my family likes everything. So again, it's just corn, potato, zucchini, chicken, and then zucchini, and then corn again. And if you have extra at the end, you can be inventive and make whatever you want. Do them in any kind of order. And another thing you can do when you get done is, if you have extra stuff and you don't want to put them on kebab sticks, you can just throw it all into a pan and bake it. If your stick happens to break, just take it out and start another one. And depending on how big your piece of chicken is, you may want to put 2 on there.
That was a little piece of meat, so I'm going to put another piece on there. All right, so there's another one done. And I'm just going to keep doing them until I get all my vegetables used. So I'm going to give you all a few minutes to get those done. Alright, I did have one piece of corn that I had a whole lot of trouble getting on my stick. It broke two of my sticks. So I ended up using my ice pick and putting a hole in it, in the core, and running it down my stick. Are we doing all right? Thumbs up for everybody. Good job. All right, do we have all of them made now? Thumbs up. All right, now what you're gonna do is you're going to take a small bowl, and if you bought olive oil, you're going to use the olive oil. If not, you can use regular vegetable oil or canola oil. So get some oil, and you're going to pour it into your bowl. And then you're going to use a pastry brush. It looks like a paintbrush. You're going to use a pastry brush, and you're going to dip it in your oil. You're going to dip it in your oil, and you're just going to paint the oil all around the kebab, and then put it on your baking dish. Okay? So you need to do that with every piece. Dip it in the oil, brush it, do every one of them. Make sure you have your oven on 375 so it's getting hot. Make sure you have your oven on 375.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Do you need these?
Absolutely, you can put those on. I was just getting ready to talk about that. After you put the oil on, you can put salt, pepper, poultry seasoning, nature seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, any kind of seasoning that your family likes. Okay, it may be taco seasoning. Maybe they like it to be spicy. You can sprinkle that on it. So sprinkle whatever seasoning you like all over. And then any extra oil that you have in the bowl, go ahead and empty it over the top. So get them all oiled, put all your seasoning on them. Put them on like a cookie sheet, a baking pan. And we're going to put them in the oven at 375. Now, once you put them in the oven, guys, you need to set a timer for 15 minutes. No, they will not be done. But after that 15 minutes, you need to take a pair of tongs or a pair of salad tongs and turn them. Okay? So every 15 minutes, you're going to turn them until they're done. You might need a parent's help with this, okay? If you don't use the stove by yourself. Okay? So every 15 minutes, you're going to turn them. So once you put them in the stove, set your timer for 15 minutes, and then you're going to turn them. Set your timer again for another 15 minutes, and then you're going to turn them. After you turn them the second time, set your timer for another 15 minutes, and they should be done. If not, go ahead and turn them and let them keep cooking, okay? You want to cook them until the chicken is done. That's the most important part. That chicken has to get done. Good job. All right, and again, for my family, we cook white rice. You could also do brown rice. You could do long grain rice. But we like to do white rice and put that on our plate and then put the kebabs on top of it. And then we use soy sauce or teriyaki sauce. Some of them use barbecue sauce. Just whatever kind of sauce you want. And you put that over it. And you eat it. Don't eat the stick. It's not good for you. You take everything off the stick, okay? Don't eat the stick. Please don't eat the stick. I don't want you to get Miss Blackmon in trouble because you decided to eat a stick. So make sure you take the stick out, okay? Are there any questions about making these today? Was this something different that you've never done before? Alright, now, just so you know, I'm going to try and send out the ingredients tonight for what we're going to need next week. On Monday, we are going to be making banana nut bread. Now, I've already got bananas that I've started preparing, okay? You can see they've got the black marks on them. They're starting to, essentially they're starting to rot. See that spot right there? It's getting soft, okay? You want your bananas to get really soft. Yeah, so you're wanting it to get browner than that and soft, okay? And you're gonna need 3 of them like that, okay? So make sure you have 3 bananas. If you go to the store this weekend and they're all green, that's okay. Get them, tie them up in a bag by themselves, and let them sit, and they'll turn to the dark color you need them to real fast. So we're gonna start next week on Monday with banana bread. Yay! All right, I see some of you have already put them in the oven. That's great. Again, once you get them in the oven, they need to turn every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, just grab the end of those sticks and turn them. Now the sticks are gonna be hot, so use tongs, okay? Any oil you have left over, make sure you dump it on top of them, and make sure you season them before you put them in. And again, it's any type of seasoning you want to use, okay? There's no set seasoning. Now, cleanup today is really easy. You need to wash your knives and you wash your cutting board. That's all you've got to wash until you serve these. And then you've got the pan that they cooked on that you'll have to wash for Mom, okay? And then if you used a bowl for chicken, make sure you wash it out. If you have a dishwasher, make sure you put it in the dishwasher. If not, wash it out really, really good with soap and water because it did have the raw chicken in it. Okay? All right, are there any questions? Is everybody ready to have chicken kebabs for dinner? Thumbs up? Yes. All right, good job today, guys. Put these in the oven and don't forget to turn them every 15 minutes, okay? All right, guys, I'll see you on Monday ready to make banana bread, okay? Bye. Bye.